YouTube, what's going on? Welcome back to TelliVision87. So let's jump into it. The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 15, the premiere episode. We had a lot going on this episode, and we're going to get all into it. But if it's your first time watching, thank you guys for coming on in. Hope to see you guys back. All right, so we've already seen the first 5 minutes of everything. Y'all remember they showed us a sneak peek last week with Martell and Sheree meeting up, Kikiing, and shading Candy and Todd. We remember that. So after that scene, the next scene we get is with the candy coated clique. It's Candy, Don Juan, and Coleman. Shout out to Coleman. They're talking about when She by Sheree site crashed because Don Juan is asking, "Oh, how's Sheree? How's she doing? Have you talked to her?" Um, Candy said when She by Sheree site crashed, they actually tried to help her, but Sheree didn't want the help, and she was like, "Oh, I already got people in place. I'm gonna take care of it," but it never got taken care of. So Candy's like, "Look, I love Sheree, you know, but she's terrible when it comes to her business dealing sometimes. She just lets stuff fall by the wayside." So, child, we already know Sheree really don't care about She by Sheree. Like, I feel like the fans care about it more than she does because ain't no way you gonna have a site crash and then um just be lollygagging to try to get it fixed or whatever. But moving on, after we get them talking, Don Juan and Carmen leave, and then in come Moneta and Kenya. And they're talking to Candy about Moneta setting Kenya up with Roy, who is supposedly her new boo. Y'all remember I talked about it the other day. Apparently he has the Kel My Name, and he's a has another restaurant venture that he's working on, but Roy's supposed to be her new boo, and they look good together. Okay, good for Kenya. She feels like a woman again after her divorce from Mark. Um and they're talking about the spoofs that Candy does. And of course, Mayetta and Kenya, they get a good little giggle out of that. Candy obviously thinks it's funny, but it's like some of the other girls, of course, Marlo and Sheree, gonna feel some type of way about it. But hey, it's good clickbait, okay? So, and then all of a sudden, well, before we get to Candy crying, they start talking about, well, speaking of Sheree and this whole Martell situation, it's some alleged rumors going around that he is seeing another young lady out here in Atlanta. I wonder if Sheree knows about it, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. So that's when Kenya brings up the DM. She says, supposedly, Martell lightweight tried to talk to me. So apparently, Martell has slid in her DM. We didn't see what the message said because by the time she went to like accept it when they were there on the camera, Ken was like, "Ooh, let me see." They clicked on it. It was like accept or deny. So that message was gone. So we never really actually saw what it was, but Kenya did say that it was he was kind of like flirting a little bit. But Candy goes more into detail on her speak on it about that whole DM situation and how it's definitely not made up, and how you're still kind of able to see a message like a little bit um before, because it's like you could glance at something and then just keep on going, then when you go back to read it, then it's no longer there. So that's kind of like what they're saying happened, but like I said, Candy goes way more into that on her speak on it. And now we have Candy. starts crying because Kenya's like, "Oh yeah, I heard you when I called you the other day. I heard you and Todd, was arguing in the background. Like, what's that about?" And Candy goes on to explain that Todd feels a type of way because he doesn't feel like the same amount of energy that's being put into him for his projects like Todd does for her. And it's kind of like the shoe is on the other foot because it's always Candy's out, always in the forefront. And Todd be right there supporting her. Okay, babe, what you need this, blah, 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 blah. But Todd feels like when it's time for him to, for example, just get this movie done that he wants to put out, it's like always, it's the urgency is not necessarily there is what Todd is saying. So Candy feels a way about it, and she also feels like Todd sometimes has made it more difficult for them to like get the meeting situation straight. And y'all know when Candy get you could hear it coming, her voice started cracking, and I'm like, oh no, Candy about to cry. Like, what done happened? The show just started. Like, what is going on? So she also says in her speak on it that she was still like, it was kind of like just fresh. So she was still upset about that. That's why she started crying and having that moment. So, but the movie is done. They said the movie is done. They getting ready to, well, I don't know when they're gonna put it out, but they got it done. So they've moved on from that since that scene. Now this is kind of gonna be interesting to see this season, and I'm talking about Sonya and her family dynamic, because we remember last year Sonya has a full house. They got a lot going on. It's Sonya, it's Ross, it's their son. So that's three people already. Four and five is her mom and dad. Six and seven is her sister and brother-in-law. And then so okay, so that's six and seven, and then that's eight and nine with their two kids. So yeah, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people in their house. And we remember they came on last season because they were relocating. They wanted to see if they were going to relocate to Atlanta. So Sonya just said, "All right, y'all come live with us for a little bit." But the good thing about having Sonya's family is her family has been working for her now. She said her parents were both her managers at one point. Her sister was helping her with like her hair and some beauty things, and now she has her brother-in-law, the brother-in-law working as her assistant because he wanted to try to get his feet into real estate in the Atlanta market, but it's not quite jumping off yet. So she's like, all right, well, just come work for me in the meantime, and you could start meeting people, this, that, and the third. The brother is like, okay, you got a lot going on. Um, I didn't really know what it was going to be like. And the sister chimes in. I forget her sister's name. I think it's something with an S, I think. But which the sister also has a confessional, by the way. So we rarely see that where the sibling comes on or whatever and jumps in a confessional. So I thought that was pretty cool. Her sister is like, Sonya, you don't have any boundaries. This man could be eating his dinner and then you want to call or stop, interrupt him and say, okay, I need you to do this for me, I need you to do that for me. And she just kind of like gets on her a little bit, like, yeah, sometimes Sonya, she don't really have no schedule. She could come home at 11 o'clock at night and then be texting me asking me to come help her with her hair or something, and I have to be like, nah, sis, like, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing that. So after Sonya's sister basically get her together, she walk out the kitchen because they're all like sitting around having dinner and they're talking about it. Ross doesn't really chime in. He back there eating, licking his fingers. The parents don't say anything, and Sonya doesn't really say anything either. She just kind of standing there like, "Oh snap! Like my sister calling me out right now." Um, so yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. Um, so yeah, I'm definitely interested to see Sonya's that whole family dynamic play out. But they're all before they even get into that conversation, they're talking about Ross's birthday party. Everything it's a Harlem Nights theme. Everything is set up, and she's gonna redeem herself from the party city and no photo booth working. Little party that was at her house last year. So we on the up and up. We getting good, better with the party planning. So now we go to the next quick little scene. Now this time, Candy wants family time with the kids, and Todd is working on his script. He's on a call, and Candy's like, "Come on, babe, we need you. Get off the phone, blah blah blah." But Todd wants to finish working on his script, so you see Candy like she starts singing, but you could clearly tell like she's aggravated. She's really annoyed, but it is what it is. But like I can't even really blame Todd in that situation though because Candy does it a lot. Like Todd will be saying, "Hey, come on, I need you for this, that, and the third. I need you to put this down and come over here." And Candy will just keep on doing what she got to do. So, Candy, now you see how it doesn't feel so good when it's done to you. So, hopefully, you know, they could really, really work on making, balancing things out a little bit more, which is what Kenya says in that scene before. I had left that out, but she's telling Candy like you really gotta, you know, try to make more time for him. You can't keep pushing him off to the side. So yeah, but moving on, we see Marlo with Michael and William, her nephews, and they have a parenting coach. So I will give it to Marlo on this because she could have easily just not have done anything about her situation. Yeah, it was a bad look kicking her nephews out. That was terrible. But she actually took the steps to get like a parenting coach and work on it. So that is one good thing I can say about Marlo. She trying to take accountability and say, "Hey, look, I'm not perfect. Yeah, I made a mistake, but how can we make it better so this doesn't happen again?" So I commend her for that. Basically, they come up with like a mantra, like a mission for their situation and how they're gonna move forward as a family and things like that. Nothing. They didn't get into anything too deep, so I'm just kind of skip over that. But let me know what you guys think about that scene with her nephews. So now this is when the new girl comes along, Miss Courtney. But before Courtney comes in, we get Sonya coming over to the chateau. Okay, she's quote on I'm doing air quotes working out with Sheree because they ain't doing nothing, child. Sheree got on her She by Sheree $274 two-piece set. I'm like, say what? Man, ain't nobody got time for no $274 two-piece She by Sheree set. Man, if you don't go on somewhere with that, go on somewhere with that. But anyway, they are talking about just like I said, the party and Sonya with her family, this, that, and the third. So Candy, not Candy, Courtney comes in. Oh, hey, nice to meet you. It's pleasantries. Courtney drop it like it's hot with her thigh high boots on or whatever. So they sit down, they're having smoothies, and Courtney says, it's a little bit odd. Candy was saying, I found out that Candy was like looking me, up and asking people about me and was going around and saying that like we were friends and blah blah blah. And this whole thing, this whole friend thing, like this is the weirdest storyline. They really tried to make something out of nothing with this. Like they was really, really reaching with this. It was just so confusing. But we see the setup of how in the next scene you're gonna see Courtney and Candy get into it. So this is like the lead up about that, which Candy dives into on her speak on it. So Candy's saying like, yeah, the all the producers hit up the girls and say, hey, we got this new person we thinking about bringing in. You know, do y'all know them? This, that, and the third. Or they'll either like once they get the information of the person, they'll check them out on IG. And she said they do that every season, so it's nothing new. But apparently, it from what I'm understanding, it's like Courtney was trying to make it seem like she was more connected to Candy than what she was. And Candy was like, I don't even really know you like that, but I did look you up and I did ask, our mutual connection. Um, well, I did ask one of my friends if they knew you because I saw that me and you, maybe Candy and Courtney, had a mutual connection. So she gets into all that. It's just like super petty, but they trying to gas Courtney up, okay? So now we get to the big night, the big event, the party, okay? So now I got to put on this because your girl Candy got activated, okay? She got activated. So we get everybody walking in. Everybody looks nice. Oh, hey, how you doing? Ralph is there. Like, we haven't even seen Drew at all. So we see Ralph. Drew is nowhere to be found. I believe Kenya was like, where's Drew? Oh, it's a family emergency. I think he said like something with Drew's grandfather, something like that. But it's just Ralph. Drew is still at home with the family, but it's like, Ralph, why aren't you with Drew? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a birthday party. Like, I'm quite sure if y'all had a family emergency, you could have RSVP and say, or hit them back at the last minute and say, oh, we can't make it. So sorry, but that just looked kind of weird. And maybe now thinking back on it, since they have filed for divorce, we're probably gonna see little moments throughout this season of like like what's that about? And this is like one of the first signs because it's like, Ralph, like you're there by yourself. So was it really a family thing? Or was it maybe y'all just had a bad day? Maybe, what I'm saying? It could have been anything. I don't know. But it's like now my mind is starting to wonder a little bit. Was it a little bit more to that, Ralph being there by himself that day? But I'm sure we'll see it progress throughout this season. Now, we kind of have like two things going on at once. So we have Courtney, Candy, and Sonya talking, and then we have Martell. Well, we have Sheree, Moneta, and Kenya. They're talking about Martell. So Courtney talks to Candy, is talking to Candy about the friend comment and everything like that. And Courtney's like, "Oh, I don't have to make up friends or whatever." But the whole time, like during the scene, Candy's face is just looking like, what is that? Candy has a look of like she's really confused or like perplexed because she has no idea like why Courtney is coming at her so hard when they literally just met. And you see like Courtney is like, doing her head and rolling her neck and like, almost kind of like bucking a little bit. And Candy is like, oh, you need to chill. You need to bring that down. Like, what are you doing? What's the energy right now? And you see Candy started to get more and more frustrated. And then Courtney was like, well, you need to calm the F down. And then she did that head thing that, buck thing again, and Candy was like, "Oh no, no, I'm about to headbutt this beat." And it was just like I said, it just got really, it went really, really left, like really, really quick. But if y'all gotta go watch Candy speak on it, she breaks it down. She's like, the reason why she's saying the reason why she looks so perplexed in that scene is because she figured out that Sonya, Courtney, and Sheree had been talking about her off camera, well, on camera, but previously, like on another day. So it was all kind of starting to click in Candy's head, like in real time. That's why she was looking like that. But like I said, Candy, she really gets into it in her speak on it. Man, the speak on this be better than, sometimes be better than the whole show, because we get all the little behind the scenes details that we just would never know. So yeah, speak on it be lit. It be lit. So shout out to Candy for that. But yeah, Courtney, she's coming in here. It's like she's doing way, 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 way too much. I guess she want to try to go against Candy to claim her spot, but you can't do it like that. You have to like be gradual with things. You could maybe throw a little light shade or whatever, but just coming in there, calling yourself trying to turn up on somebody like that, you can't do that. So I that made me already look at Courtney like, girl, like what are you doing, sis? You going down the wrong road, going down the wrong road. In my Porsche voice. So yeah, so after that, then we see at the same time Kenya and Marietta are telling Sheree about the rumors. Just be like, hey, like, are you good? Because we're hearing that he allegedly is dating someone else here in the city, and then Kenya tells Sheree about the DM or whatever, and Sheree is like, no, like everything, everything's good. Sheree says in her confessional, like, oh, if he wanna go and downgrade, that's on him. Blah 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 blah. But everything they're bringing to Sheree, she's defending, she's, bouncing it off. So that's kind of how it goes off. And then we'll see next week the big blow up, and where Kenya says, once a cheater, always a cheater, blah, 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 blah. So Kenya bringing the smoke to Martell. Um, but see, like, even how Martell came in, yeah, he threw that shade at Candy and Todd, but he didn't just walk in at the party and just like rah 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 rah. Like, he only, kind of went in once he was confronted first. But that Martell is still a piece of work though, cause over on Huntsville, baby, he's a whole different story over on Love and Marriage Huntsville. But anyway, thank you guys for watching this review. It's your girl TelliVision87. Let me know what you guys think about the premiere. Do you think Courtney is going to get her a peach? Like, do you think she'll stick around or no? I like at first glance, yeah, she might have an explosive season, but she might not make it. I don't think she'll make it. But looking forward to seeing Drew. Maybe she'll pop in next episode. We shall see. And yeah. I will talk to you guys soon. If you want to check out more of my content, I'm going to have a video linked right here for you guys. And I'm seeing in the streets that Kim has filed for divorce from Croy. So I'm about to do a video on that. And I'll be back to talk to y'all soon. Peace.